right, welcome everyone to the Chaotic Banter Podcast, episode 13. And, we're actually recording for once. And I have a special guest today.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Well, who are you?
I'm Christian.
Yes.
Yes.
This is Christian. We work together, and he just followed me home.
Yeah.
So now we're doing a podcast at this
Why
moment.
you gotta make it weird?
So for today's episode, we are doing pretty much like our own theories on how Spider-Man No Way Home will be. And we're going to pretty much discuss all the rumors that are going on and, just see what's up with that.
Yeah, so we have a list of things to talk about, like various topics and stuff, so it should be interesting.
All right, so recently we've gotten pretty much like confirmation, but not really confirmation of news about who's going to be in the movie. So we've had confirmation that Jamie Foxx is going to be in the movie for No Way Home. Mm-hmm. And if everybody remembers, if you guys remember, is that Jamie Foxx was Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah. We'll just call it Garfield Spider-Man.
Garfield Spider-Man, and number 2, he died.
Well, the thing is, I don't think he really died. Like, he's electricity, so he kind of just like... dispersed, right?
Yeah.
But that kind of leaves it open-ended. Like, where did he go? Maybe they're gonna use that as like, oh, he teleported somewhere, kind of like how Red Skull did in Captain America, First Avenger.
It makes sense. But also, there's also rumors about Dr. Octopus from the Raimi universe, and we know that he died as well, but he became a good guy right before his death.
Well, the thing is, again, like, we don't necessarily know. We just kind of saw him, like, float away into the sun that he was creating, right?
Yeah.
Remember, he was creating, like a black hole or whatever that was.
That's true.
In the warehouse. So maybe he, like, got sucked into that. Because it was just, like, the ending was he floated away, and then that was it.
That's true. He just disappeared.
So maybe there's like a theory of right before he's about to drown, he gets like pulled into this multiverse or something, or like goes into purgatory or something with his memories of him being evil, or right before he converted to being a good guy.
Yeah. Because I can see how this could work. Because if in the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse movie, the animated film, there are certain instances where, because certain characters that are in that movie, they remember saying that they suddenly just appeared in his universe, in Miles Morales' universe. What I can see. So that could be a good way to introduce like how Dr. Octopus and Electro actually shows up randomly in the MCU, because I know in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, when Gwen Stacy, the Spider-Gwen, she was saying, she's like, I don't even know how I came into these universe. One day I just popped up and I showed up here. So it could
be, sorry to cut you off, but I think it could be like the big tie-ins are the Morales universe and then help from Stephen Strange. Yeah,
especially because the whole WandaVision as well, trying to introduce Stephen Strange and the whole multiverse of madness. And it's because we already have hints of Miles Morales in the MCU, because in the first movie, we see Spider-Man interact with Donald Glover, and he is, it's hinted that he's Miles Morales' uncle, which is the Prowler, and the Prowler is Into the Spider-Verse movie. So that's another tie-in with the whole like multiverse theory right now.
I think it would make a lot of sense that a multiverse theory with the different Spider-Men would be created right before the third or the second installment for Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
Because then that sets up a whole different branch of things that can happen with Stephen Strange in his movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's also with the whole collaboration with Sony, and then how Disney recently got the rights to Foxx and the whole XMen Universe, where that could be a way they can tie things in as well. So
yeah, it should be interesting, but usually people's theories are wrong because Marvel and Sony and the big pictures want to make it like an original idea, like, oh, nobody saw this coming.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's honestly usually what happens. Like, people are kind of in the ballpark, but nowhere near close.
Very true. Because there's also with another thing that supports most of these multiverse theories is the new show Loki coming out, which is based all about the multiverse and how when Loki took the Tesseract and he flew away, well, not flew away, he like teleported, he ends up in like in between the dimensions or something. So that could be another tie-in with how the Spider-Man from these other universes that have been created could come through.
Yeah, because I mean, we were talking earlier in the animated series from the 1990s. There was different Spider-Man with Madam Web. So who knows? Maybe Madam Web could be somehow like introduced very vaguely as like the woman to control all the Spider-Man.
Yeah, be hinted at. Because also we have the movies coming out soon, which is Venom and Carnage, which there's some Easter eggs with that Christian mentioned to me earlier today.
Yeah, if you look actually directly in the trailer for the new Venom movie, there's a scene where Woody Allen's character Carnage is, I think he's writing a letter or something, and a spider walks across his paper and he smashes it.
Yeah.
So like in the comics, there's been always a big like feud between Spider-Man and Carnage, and then Venom either helping or not helping, depending on his mood, I suppose. Like in one of the first Spider-Man games for the PlayStation 1, that was the big bad guy in the end. It was Venom and Spider-Man teaming up to stop Carnage.
Yeah, because he fused with Dr. Octopus. Yeah. And it was like, you were getting chased, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But also another thing that supports that is, because, people like spiders and stuff. He doesn't like spiders, he hates Venom. But at this point, Venom doesn't have any of Spider-Man's attributes because he hasn't fused with them yet. So that's another like good hint that it connects to each other. Another thing is with the Morbius movie, where if you guys see, it's towards like the end of the trailer, is that it shows like a little Easter egg on like graffiti on the wall where Jared Leto's walking by. It shows Sam Raimi's Spider-Man on the wall, and it has murder written across of it. And there's like in the other Spider-Man movies that have come out, there hasn't really been an instance where Spider-Man's been considered a murderer. He's more of a menace. And with the new movie of Tom Holland that came out a couple years ago, he's known right now as murdering Mysterio. So that's another good connection with the whole. And also at the very end, Vulture shows up.
Yeah.
And Vulture is an MCU character now in a Sony film.
Yep.
And this just concludes like everything else right now.
And it makes you wonder like what time period is this scene taking place? Because
it's true.
Is it like before he was a bad guy? Before Vulture was a bad guy? Like maybe working some odd job in a hospital or something? Or is he stealing that ambulance?
Yeah,
like
it's true.
What is he doing? How does he know him? How does he know Morbius?
Yeah, because at the end of was it? No, yeah, because at the end of the first Spider-Man movie, he meets Scorpion in the prison, and we have heard nothing about Scorpion ever since.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way Scorpion was introduced in Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it kind of just like appeared.
Yeah, I think I heard something where he was like showed up earlier in the film as just like a random character, but I don't think so. Or he was like in another movie. I'm not sure, but yeah, he kind of just showed up out of nowhere. But then there's the whole before Vulture became Vulture. There was like the span between the New York incident. There was like 2 years or 3 years or something where Vulture is like getting his plans and like building all this stuff up. So when he meets Morbius, it could be between those years.
Yeah.
When he's like planning everything.
Because there was that flashback kind of in between scene where he's like building up his empire as Falcon.
Yeah. So it could be around that time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. But they also just announced that Kraven the Hunter, the actor from Kick-Ass, is going to play Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
So you're theorizing maybe a younger Kraven?
Yeah, I'm thinking a younger Kraven because I don't know. What I've known about Kraven is he showed up more when Spider-Man was older, not when he was in high school. But also it kind of does...
It would make sense, though, because like Aunt May's younger, Spider-Man is younger, Kraven would be younger.
Yeah, it could be like he's starting out and this is probably like his first big hunt, which could be like a good like leeway to him like being introduced into the movie.
Which would maybe introduce him into something, somehow tying into starting, then branching off with the Sinister Six.
Yeah, because we already have Electro, Dr. Octopus. Now Kraven's been announced. We have Vulture and Scorpion.
I'm not sure. Are they bringing back the same actor from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man as Rhino?
I don't know. I hated that Rhino. Because he's supposed to be like Russian, isn't he? He was Russian, but he's supposed to be like the suit that was on Rhino was supposed to be like attached to his skin, and he can't take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that guy either, because that's how they finished the second Spider-Man movie from Andrew Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
It was like on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, because they showed all the Sinister Six stuff, and then nothing happened after that.
Yeah. Then again, I think consensus-wise, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was the worst.
Really?
Just because, like, I don't know, I have a bias towards Maguire's Spider-Man, as like that was the first one I ever watched on screen.
Yeah.
And like, as a kid, like, you thought he was the coolest one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the take they had with his powers being like organic. And then Garfield came after, but he was kind of like too cool.
Yeah. I think I liked his Spider-Man, but I can agree with the Peter Parker being too cool.
I liked his Spider-Man. He definitely had a good, witty Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, he had the build and everything. But just in school, like skating around, like,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't look like a guy that, you know, was a super smart kid, but they also didn't get girls.
Oh yeah, that's true. For me, for like the Raimi Spider-Man, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. It's probably because the third movie kind of just ruined him for me. But in the first two, I really liked him. His Spider-Man's
the second Raimi Spider-Man is probably one of the best.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Ever,
hands down. But I don't know. I thought his Spider-Man was kind of cool. His Peter Parker had more of like the original Peter Parker look, which I agree with. I just didn't like how he cried all the time. But we could say that about Tom Holland too, because he cries a lot too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I feel like Tom Holland is just like, because I see a lot of the cartoons, especially the ones when he's in high school, and he just like perfects that cartoon version of him, even though he's supposed to be like live action.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I think they've been doing good with the movies.
Yeah, it's interesting as to like how they're, if that is true, like I'm really hoping how each of the actors are gonna play off of each other. Because they're all the same person, but they all like brought their own take to playing that character. Yeah,
that's true. Because also with Raimi Spider-Man, he has the experience with MJ, how they were probably married by now.
And that's gonna be interesting because he's by far the oldest Spider-Man.
Yeah, he is the oldest. And then now with the whole experience, the whole thing with Tom Holland, how he's just got into a relationship with MJ, being interesting, like, you know, see on how like their future could be. Andrew, his Gwen Stacy got freaking murdered, so he's kind of like in the dumps. Because I know in the Into the Spider-Verse, the Peter Parker in that movie, he was going through like hell because he was super old, had no job, his love life was crap.
Well, and didn't they a long time ago have a video game where it was Spider-Man like very far into the future? It's a Spider-Man 2099, but that's like it's a different one. But I don't know if it's Web of Shadows or no, Web of Shadows was something else.
It was one of the multiverse, one of the Spider-Verse movie games.
There was one where it was a multiverse because you could play as various Spider-Men.
Yeah.
One in like the 1940s, it was like LA Noir type.
Yeah, he's the same one that shows up in the Spider-Verse movies. You could play as him, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I played that a little bit. I didn't really get too much into it, but I think Web of Shadows was probably one of the better Spider-Man games in terms of like ability to choose what could happen.
I didn't play. I always like wanted to play those games, but I just didn't have the money at the time when they came out. But I know the new Spider-Man game for the PS4 was amazing. I still haven't finished it. But it's so good.
I thought about buying it, but then I just watched gameplay and got like satisfied to that.
Really? Damn. It's really good. The only thing is, I don't know, it's good and bad how sometimes when you're playing the story mode, they kind of make you stop and do like the side missions objectives for a little bit, and then you can go back into the story mode. So I can see that how it's good where it's not like people just rushing through the story, but there are times where you just want to go through the whole story and not worry about everything around there.
The thing I liked about Web of Shadows is like the longer you played on as one side, either Spider-Man or like Spider-Man with the Venom.
Yeah.
They changed your story, and it was like
that's cool.
You could like press a button and then it would change like instantly to like web, like with the Venom on or with it off, and then it would how people would like interact with you the longer you played. Like in the beginning, it was kind of like down the middle.
Okay.
And then the longer you played with the Venom suit on, the more people would like run away from you, and then if you had the red suit on, the regular one, they would like want to talk to you.
That's cool.
And then there was like Wolverine was in there, Kingpin was in there, you had Scorpion, you had Venom Dimension, you had Mary Jane, you had Daredevil, Moon Knight. Yeah, there's a bunch of different characters, and like at one point you would have to fight them. And depending on the suit you were wearing at the time, because you didn't know like when a cutscene was gonna happen, depending on this time of the game, what suit you were wearing, it would determine like kind of how it would play out. Like I remember one time, I was playing just as the Venom suit, and like I ended up having to fight Wolverine because I like ticked him off because I was being an asshole as the Venom Spider-Man, and I ended up killing Wolverine. And I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back to like, no, I didn't want to do that.
Oh my god.
I played like the rest of the game and Wolverine was dead, and he was like one of your allies to call on in the game.
And you killed him.
I killed him. I remember because it was by a church. Like, I don't know, the Venom went like inside his body and like ripped him apart. It was crazy.
What the heck? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's a fun game because it's super like intense because you can like pick up vehicles and stuff and like throw them at people.
Dang.
And Luke Cage was in there too.
Luke Cage? Oh dang.
That's cool. It was probably one of the best PS3 games for Spider-Man because it was like a very fast-paced, aggressive Spider-Man where you could like run up the buildings and like super jump higher up the buildings. It was like a very aggressive style of gameplay, almost like a Batman Arkham kind of gameplay.
That's really cool. Like, bring up more about that because you brought up Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Wolverine, and then we have the the MCU shows, the Defenders, how they pretty much are non-existent anymore.
Which I don't understand why. Why did that happen again?
Because I don't know, Disney decided they just want to stop having shows, like those shows. They want to like stop those shows and then start doing their own thing.
But
because this was before, I think this was before Disney owned the MCU, like a lot of the MCU. It was
working so well.
Yeah, but they did the same thing with Star Wars where they freaking destroyed everything.
But I honestly think like the Matt Murdock of the Netflix series is one of the best.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of comics with Daredevil and Spider-Man working together. Also, Kingpin is one of his biggest arch rivals.
And he hasn't been introduced in them.
Yeah, he's not even mentioned.
He wasn't in Maguire. He wasn't in Garfield.
Yeah, but also Kingpin is the one who usually hires Kraven. So he could show up. Like Kraven's going after him, like, who hired you?
But the thing is, Kingpin. Like, okay, we waited, I don't know, 10 years for Endgame, and that felt, it was in 2 parts, but they're not going to make a 2-part movie.
No, they're not. But I saw that when they said that they hired Kraven, they said they hired Kraven for like a solo movie. So like a Spider-Man solo movie, because...
So maybe he's just going to make an appearance in Spider-Man.
Yeah. But there could be a movie with him, because like if they say it's a solo movie, he would be like the main focus of the film.
Maybe we're completely wrong, and like the multiverse... Because who knows? Maybe this is a 4-part thing or something.
Yeah.
Because like, I thought Thor was going to be 3 parts, but it's 4.
Yeah, and then the whole thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3... But Thor left with the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of Endgame. So
it could be where we're completely wrong about the multiverse for this one. And Far From Home it's just like a Spider-Man versus Kraven type of movie.
Yeah, I feel like that would be more let's say realistic.
That his identity is exposed. He's hunting him.
Yeah. I can see that they can hint for a multiverse movie down the road. Because especially with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, we still have no idea what that film is going to be about. WandaVision kind of hinted a little bit through that. Maybe we'll definitely learn more through Loki's TV show. Because that's just going to dive straight in with that.
Interesting to see what kind of superhero the allies Spider-Man's going to have in the newest one.
Yeah, it's true. Because they haven't hinted anything about her. Because we know, for him, because we know Black Cat is a big character in the Spider-Man universe that kind of is his ally, but when he's older. Who else is really an ally for Spider-Man usually? Like an actual superhero?
Catwoman.
You mean Black Cat?
I'm sorry, yeah.
I just mentioned Black Cat.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not listening.
I don't know.
I only know from...
You're right. Yeah. I don't know why. As a kid, I always thought that was...
Catwoman?
Yeah, because she was a cat.
It was Black Cat. Yeah. Well, because like Daredevil would usually sometimes, and then... I know, I saw the show...
That's what it needs to happen, honestly. They need to bring the freaking guy from the Defenders and make him Peter Parker's lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, as a scene, like, I don't care what happens. I want Peter Parker to go to trial and Matt Murdock from the Defenders to be there and defend him. And then after the fact, like, they have a conversation in an alleyway.
Yeah.
I'd die of happiness if that was a thing.
It'd be so good. And then, because I saw the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series, which has a lot of characters.
That branched off so much, it was kind of hard to keep up with if you didn't keep up.
Yeah, because they had pretty much almost every MCU character in that show, and then they had Luke Cage, Deadpool. That episode was insane. But because they had Luke Cage, which was Power Man before Luke Cage was actually Luke Cage.
Yeah.
He was as a kid, like younger version, he was Power Man. They had Iron Fist, which is he's in the Defenders.
Yeah.
White Tiger, which was not, I didn't really know who she was until that show. But she has history with Kraven. So if Kraven shows up, then she could be a character that could be introduced. And then there's Nova, who I think we've heard that they're making something Nova related for the MCU.
Maybe.
That could come up, because they're more of a Guardians of the Galaxy sort of thing.
Well, the Eternals comes out first.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
So maybe, I don't know. Knowing how the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, there's probably like some breadcrumbs into...
Yeah, because in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, at the end, they show, what's this guy's name? He's like the Superman of the MCU. It's like those gold people, like those alien species that they're like painting gold. And they hit it out of
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll put the woman. They said that I'll put the image of the character, but he's like considered the Superman of the MCU, and they hinted that he would be showing up, and we've heard nothing ever since about it.
Peter Quill being half like sentient.
Yeah, in the second one.
But then it was like very vague. After the fact.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't ever like expounded upon after. Like he defeated his dad, and then that was it.
Yeah. There's a lot of things with the Guardians of the Galaxy that they've hopefully addressed in the third film, because there's so much information.
Gamora, I want to know about that. Like how is this thing with new Gamora? Is she new Gamora?
She's technically the past Gamora. Like she's the Gamora that was still kind of like evilish per se. She didn't know who Peter was or anyone in the Guardians of the Galaxy was before. So they have to like reestablish the relationship. And
so it's not Peter's Gamora.
No, she's dead.
And it's not, but it is the good. Her sister is good.
Yeah, she's her original, but she's good now. She killed her past self. But that also shows that the whole multiverse thing, it's like, because if she killed her past self, she would have disappeared from existence. But it's a different universe.
No, she killed a different universe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because Thanos, technically in that universe, he died. Like, he was gone. So that universe never experienced the wiping of half the universe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of confusing things that we need to address. with MCU right now.
It's just too much because you like think about how much stuff we just talked about that we kind of touched base on that we didn't really remember originally.
Yeah.
It's such sensory overload.
It is. Especially with now 15 years of
2008
information from freaking.
Well, the thing is, it's like you're gonna watch a trailer and then like within 24 hours, it's gonna be like so dissected by people.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, I suppose, nowadays.
That's what makes things worth living.
I guess, yeah, sure.
All right.
Like before the cinematic universe was set up, it was just literally like, oh, you feel like making this kind of movie? Sure.
Yeah, Oh, you know what would happen? Be cool if we have them all meet.
Who?
The Avengers. No, wait, which one are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. You're talking about the movies like, let's just make this. It's cool.
Before the cinematic universe?
Yeah, before they even started it.
No, because...
Oh, I'm so confused.
It got retconned.
Which one are you talking about?
All the stuff before doesn't matter. Before the cinematic universe, all that stuff doesn't matter at all.
What are you talking about? For Spider-Man?
In Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah. But the whole thing will... Technically, Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, wasn't part of the MCU, but they still include the movies in the actual story.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to kind of see an alternate universe where Eric Bana was the Hulk in the Avengers movie.
Really?
I don't know. I thought he was a good Hulk.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember that movie.
What's his name? The current
like
Hulk.
Barely. Yeah. Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo is more of like cartoony to me.
Yeah. Because
he's got like a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
I would never see Eric Bana as like a funny person.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, technically now he's the Gray Hulk because he has his intelligence as Hulk.
I thought that was dumb. They should have because this isn't a fucking Endgame podcast, but I thought they should have somehow not World Breaker Hulk, but like something where it's like a hint.
You wanted to like world. That would have been cool.
I wanted a fucking rematch.
Yeah, I wanted a rematch with him and Thanos as well. But yeah, that was dumb. I wish they actually did do that.
Why
they didn't?
Like, how are you gonna make him go out like that?
Yeah,
like he got his butt, he got his ass whooped, and then
that was a fucking cool scene to see Hulk get like beat up.
Yeah, but there was nothing that you thought it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
In part one, and then it didn't, because he was nervous, and then it was like, oh, he's coping with the fact, and then it's like maybe like. Remember how Xavier told Magneto like that space between Serenity and Rage? Yeah. Like, why not have something there? Like I
think the main reason why is because they wanted to show freaking Captain Marvel. I'm pretty sure that's 100% the reason why she came in and stopped Thanos instead of Hulk being the one to stop Thanos.
No, but they could have totally made it a good scene where she comes in and she's like, I'm the strongest one there is, and then she gets her ass whooped, and then Hulk's like, no.
It's me. Dude, it could have been Hulk shows up out of nowhere, stops Thanos from doing his hand, and like, what if he like broke his wrist? That would be fucking sick. But I don't know. We're going to like. It's so good, but I was waiting for that. But because they also fucked up his arm after he did
with his regeneration, like I don't know, he goes into a rage or something, and like he heals.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, dang, dude. But World Breaker Hulk would be freaking sick. But we would need Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. We would need Professor X. Tony Stark. Tony Stark's dead.
Don't do World Breaker Hulk. Just make him like Planet Hulk Ragey.
Planet Hulk, man.
Because like Planet Hulk, they hinted at it kind of in Ragnarok.
Yeah, they did.
It wasn't even like. It wasn't the same.
Yeah. Well, that's the MCU. They do good and they do bad. This was episode 13 of the Chaotic Banter Podcast.
I just said we're gonna do an intermission.
Well, I'll cut that out. Screw you. But yeah, we're gonna record another episode anyway. So if we're in the same clothes next episode, don't judge us.
All right, we should switch our clothes.
We just change clothes. Use my clothes right here.
No, those ones.
If we switch clothes. That'd be so stupid. We switch seats and clothes.
Yes, let's do it.
No.
Oh,
all right. Well, bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.
Love you. And.